Um, Richard Nixon was Dwight Eisenhower vice president. In 1960, he was the first outgoing vice president to lose the election. In this country history, I believe there has been three outgoing vice presidents that has lost the general election. First was Richard Nixon in 1960. Second was Al Gore in 2000, even though it's debatable that election was stolen in 19, even though it's debatable that election was stolen in the vote recount in Florida. And third was Harris. The way how there are two ways history can repeat itself. Harris can be the second vice president to have a Richard Nixon kind of comeback. Richard Nixon lost in 1960. He came back in 1968, won the election against John McGovern, and then he won re-election in 1972. So Harris can have the similar type of comeback. According to this polling, she is the front runner to get the nominee. So that means if she was to run for president in 2028, she will likely be the nominee if she wants. Another way how history can repeat itself is Donald Trump can be the second president to resign during his term. Richard Nixon was the first one. He resigned in 1974 because of the Watergate scandal. In 1972, there was a Watergate that broke out. I believe the House tried to impeach Richard Nixon. And then by 1974, he engaged in a quid pro quo with his vice president, Gerald Ford. He was like, I'll give you the last 2 years of my term in exchange for a presidential pardon. Since Donald Trump won the election, all of his prosecution are either dropped or paused. And it looks like he's not going to get any presidential pardon from Joe Biden. So he can engage in the same similar quid pro quo that Richard Nixon engaged in 1974 with his then Vice President Gerald Ford by giving J.D. Vance the last 2 years or years of his term in exchange for a presidential pardon. Now, it will depend what is going to happen during these 3 to 4 years. If Republicans follow through the promise and the economy is going well and they bring inflation down, then they they can well retain the House by 2026, and then whoever is the nominee by 2028 can win the White House as a Republican. So that means whoever is the Democrat nominee in 2028 will lose, whether it's Harris or someone, whether it's Harris, because apparently, according to this polling, she's the front runner. So this is all that's in my mind.